Hey, welcome back. Time for another episode of Around the Table with South County Outreach. As we bring you the top stakeholders in the community together to talk in a real way about how we can all combat poverty here in Orange County with the man, the team leader, the Sherpa that's going to guide us along the way, Laval Brewer. Welcome, sir.
Okay, well, good to see you.
You have got such an interesting group of people that you're going to bring in here, and today is no exception. Who'd you bring with you today?
We have Lauren Ruiz, who is on our team, the Director of Development for South County Outreach.
She doesn't look like she's ready to go here today. I don't know. She's ready.
She's ready.
She's ready. Okay.
We've been talking about this for a while, so she's ready to go.
She didn't want to break the microphone. She wants to just have a good time. We're sitting around the table. It's just a kitchen table here, right?
You know, we sit around the table, and actually in my office we have some comfy chairs where we sit around and
Oh,
talk.
okay.
We
Well,
make it happen.
I'll get that for the next round here.
You know, it's all right. Sitting around the table is a totally different conversation. Sitting around the couch there is about figuring out how to make this work and how to get it going.
Exactly.
But right now we're going to talk about what we do and how we make it happen. So we have Lauren here today. She's going to be here talking about relationships and how we do the work we do around relationships in our community, around relationships with our partners, as well as relationships with the people that we support in our clients. So let's get at it. Hey, Lauren, good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Oh, no, this is so different. I know it's like normally when we sit down, no one is hearing our conversation about how we do this work,
right?
How we make the sausage. But not today. Today we're going to get at it. So, hey, let's jump into it. You know why we're here, but why are we here today?
We're here today to really talk about relationships and what that means at South County Outreach, and especially, what that means to you and I, and not just with our donors and with our community partners, which that's a big piece, but also with our clients.
Yeah, you know, we talk about relationships in our office. It is not just like who should we get to give us money.
Obviously,
right? We do talk about that because you're the Director of Development, so that's
it's a thing we talk about.
Yeah, it's part of your job, but not today. That's not what we're talking about today. So when you think about the relationships that we develop and we court and we steward, like what's important to you around that?
I think what's really important is courage and having the courage to be vulnerable no matter who that is, because when you're vulnerable, you break those walls down and the relationship becomes authentic and it becomes resilient. And especially in the work that we do, there is a level of vulnerability that's needed because our clients are in vulnerable positions, and being vulnerable with us allows them to really break down those walls and kind of go deeper into what they need and allowing us in to help them find that solution.
Wow, that you just cut to the core of our work around our clients and our partners. So let's stay there about why you're here today. When you think about, the clients that we work with, why are relationships, the relationship with them, and we see over 100 families or individuals per day, Monday through Thursday. Why is it important to have relationships with them deeper than the transactional relationship of giving them something or solving a problem?
The relationships really with the client, it's how you open the door to the root issue and what really gets them ticking and what got them to the place that they're in. So I think specifically when you talk about we have 100 clients, it's easy to hand out a bag of food, but it takes a lot more to talk about what you're going to do with the meat that you got. How do I use ground beef to make this meal? It takes a little bit more. It's like the difference between going to a restaurant or a drive-through. McDonald's, you don't really have to have a relationship with the guy that's on the other end. If you're sitting at a restaurant, you have to interact with your waiter or your waitress, and sometimes they want to have a conversation with you. And I feel like that's very parallel to how our clients have to interact with our staff and our volunteers. They have to really open up a little bit more than just a drive-through.
Yeah, that vulnerability you speak to is so key to the ongoing work that we do. But before I get into that, because that's where I'm going to go next. In our partners, when the partners we have, we're going to hear from several of them on our podcast over the next couple of months. We have some really deep relationships with partners who make it possible for us to do that work. Tell me more about how we do that, why we do that, and what it gets us and gets them and our clients.
You're right. We do have a lot of really deep partnerships. And I think what makes us unique and what makes the partnerships that we have unique is that we're willing to say no and what we can and we can't do. We don't say yes to everybody. We want to be friends with organizations that are like-minded, organizations that can help in areas that we can't, fill in gaps that we can't. But we're also not afraid to say no. We're also not afraid to say yes. We want to be good partners. We want to be good neighbors. It's something we talk about all the time in our organization. And I think for us, that also means promoting our partners. You will hear us in the community talking about our partners at Bracken's Kitchen or at Second Harvest. We're not afraid to promote the good work of others because, as we say all the time, we don't carry our own water. We do this as a group and as a community. And I think that really shines through. We work with over 300 organizations that are partners with us. Some of them are in food, some of them are in housing, but we're not afraid to say no, and we're not afraid to promote our partners that are also doing great work that complement what we do.
Yeah, you're bringing it together so well. I'm reminded about I saw a podcast a post this morning around the Hunger Alliance. The Hunger Alliance is Orange County Food Bank, Second Harvest, and Abound Food Care, and we're one of their partners, early on partners to do this work. And the relationship we have with them is about to transfer in our minds to a relationship we have with other pantries around us, where we are going to invite other pantries into a relationship with us to do this work. And I'm going to give you a quick example. And I know we're talking about Lauren, but I just want to give a quick example about this. Laguna Food Pantry down in Laguna Beach gives out tons of food every day. They have a long line of people, but they don't have any trucks. So a box truck in particular, a refrigerated box truck, and they are borrowing our box truck every Saturday so they can go pick up a large order from one of the food providers from Grocery Rescue. And when I think about how nonprofits like us are willing to say, yes, you can borrow my truck without anything other than you have some insurance and you've taught your person how to drive it, that's just unusual for a nonprofit like us or nonprofits to give up their asset like that. Can you give any other examples about how we have partnered or leaned into the community around relationships that help our clients, not just our clients, but the entire community be successful?
I think one of the examples that comes to mind right off the bat is these community meals that we tried to start. It's in partnership with some of the churches, and we don't make meals. That's not our area of expertise. We're grocery, we're housing, we're education. But we recognize that churches were places where people come to gather around the table and as a community. And so we worked with some of the local churches to help them get warm meals to individuals that may use our services. They might not use our services, but to make sure that our community members and our neighbors had warm meals available to them on a regular basis. It wasn't something that we could do ourselves, but it was a place where people felt comfortable and vulnerable, and it was a way for us to show how we were being good neighbors and helping others help themselves.
Yeah, wow, that's a great example. I remember when we first started that, it was ambitious, and we wanted to be a bigger part of it, and we realized that it just wasn't our place to be. But it was our opportunity to create the partnership and the connection. And actually, the people who provide that food is Bracken's Kitchen. We created a connection to Bracken's Kitchen that allowed that church and those churches to do that work. That's a great example. So when you think about some of the relationships we're doing, why did we jump into that? What was the reason for us to expand that relationships to do this work? And now you said we don't carry our own water, but there was a reason behind it.
Well, I mean, one of the big reasons I think was a book that we read as a staff.
It's a book that you brought to us, to the team.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
A book that I found, kind of a junkie for data related to what we do, and I found this book, and it's by a woman named Katie Martin. She lives on the East Coast. She's worked in the food sector for over 20 years, and I read the book, and I cannot tell you how many lines are underlined, how many pages are tabbed. And I remember bringing it to you, and I don't usually bring you stuff to read because I know you're an audiobook guy and
I am.
You have a lot on your plate. I know your inbox is full, and I was pretty insistent. We need to read this book. You need to read this book. And
by the way, it's on Audible, so I was able to listen to the book.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
Yeah.
So you read the book. Our entire staff then read the book. We've now shared it with many of our funders, our community partners, our donors. And the book just really brought together a lot of the ideas that we already had, but synthesized it and really focused on the value of connection and culture and the words that we say and that they matter. And, we already feel that way in our organization, but the book just really put it on paper and really brought it together in a beautiful way. And I think that that really demonstrated for us that what we had always thought was authentic and it was true, and now it was being backed by someone who had been doing it for 20 years.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing about it, the name of the book is More Than Food. How food banks and food pantries, I'm blowing it right this minute.
Reinventing food banks and food pantries.
That's it,
More Than Food is her model, but reinventing, which I think is really a powerful phrase.
So let's dive into that a little more, because this relationship conversation kind of hangs on this as it relates to what we do around housing, hunger, and education. And Katie kind of brings to light that the place where nonprofits who do hunger work have an opportunity to lean into the client services model. Tell us more about how that happens and why relationships are the base of that conversation.
So Katie's model, you said, it's more than food, and relationships are, as we've said, it's about being vulnerable, and choice, connection, and culture are the 3 C's that she talks about in her More Than Food model. And connection is really that relationship component. The culture is obviously the environment that we've created and the words that we use, but the connection is really fostering that deeper way to be connected with our clients and with our community. And whether that's services that we provide or connecting them to other services, that's something that Katie really hammers home in her book. And it's also just consistently showing up. And I think that our hours and our volunteers, and there's a lot of components that we bring around for our clients. It's consistency, and it's, knowing that we're always going to have eggs, milk, and butter for our clients. And that's something that connects them to us and allows vulnerability. And it's the same with our donors. It's the same with our partners, where we show up, we're there, we're transparent with what we can and we can't do. And that's something that I think Katie really also emphasized in the book, was just being your authentic self.
Yeah, so the relationships that clients get when they come to our pantry, or they enter into a conversation with one of our caseworkers, or they end up talking to one of us because they find out we're a hunger prevention organization. They can really come to light in this More Than Food model. And so I want to dig into that just a little more, just another layer down. You said we don't carry our own water. When we first started looking at this and thinking about it, we said, who are the partners that need to be where our clients are? So we intentionally went out and looked for a couple of partners who could be at the pantry when the clients were there to provide some additional services. Tell us about those partners and why you believe we should continue to do that and others should do it also.
So one of those partners is with the OC Food Bank. It's their name's escaping me at the moment. And one of them is a legal entity that we work with.
Public Law Center.
Public Law Center, exactly. We don't have expertise in law, but there are often situations that our clients need expertise in law. They're going through some divorce battle, or there's some other incident that's happened in their lives. That's not an area that we can take on. Public Law Center is at our offices every week offering those services. We also work, like I mentioned, the OC Food Bank, and they bring us diapers. Diapers is not something that we're in the business of diapers. We're not in the industry of childcare, but through their partnership with them, they bring something that we can't to our organization and offer that service to our clients. There are a multitude of other partners that we work with. Obviously, we've mentioned several times our partners at Bracken's Kitchen, making warm, nutritious meals for our clients that they can have at home when you and I go home and are tired and we need to Uber eat something. Our clients can't do that. And so the meals that Bracken's makes allows that. Those partnerships really allow us to stay focused on what we're good at and what we do best. And so instead of straying to get dollars to support us on something that our clients probably need, but we're not experts at. I think South County Outreach, we're really good at staying focused on what we're good at and what we can excel at, and finding partners that can fill those gaps where we're not experts at it, but we know that there are community partners that are. So if there's anyone listening, obviously, if you're a partner and you do something besides food and housing, we would love to partner with you. We know our clients have needs that we can't fill. I was with someone on Friday, actually. She works in the mental health space, and we were just talking about how when people are in need of our services at South County Outreach, there's an element of vulnerability, but there's also definitely some element of needing support, someone to talk to, and how her mental health services could be a really great asset to support some of our clients. They do it on a sliding scale. It's inexpensive, and that's definitely something that we see a need for.
Yeah, we're not going to dig into this, but we so often hear from our community, oh, it must be mental illness that is causing people to be homeless or whatever that may be. And the answer is maybe. Sometimes. But when it is, we want to be able to provide that support, because often we hear people say, well, do you provide mental illness support? Like, that's not what we do.
Nope.
So that's when we say no. And while we know that there is a need for those services, we also know where we can do the best, and that's why we bring other people into the conversation.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's jump into one more thing about relationships, because you are the director of development. So we can't not do this, because then I can't help you do your job, and that's really important to us. So I know that part of your role is to write grants and to shepherd our supporters, our individual supporters, do this work. When you think about how philanthropy is a relationship conversation for us, what's your philosophy around building that relationship with people and helping them to grow their community?
So I think in particular, it's something that I actually think about quite often. People don't want to go into the development space. They're scared of it. We're kind of trained growing up not to talk about money, that talking about money is a bad thing. That's not how I was brought up. That's not how I was trained. I don't think that talking about money is a bad thing. I think it's an opportunity. And every day when we get to know donors, we get to talk to donors, you're really giving them the opportunity to say, what kind of world are you dreaming of? And what do you think is possible? And how can your dollars make that dream a reality? And that changes how talking about money feels. That doesn't feel dirty. That feels awesome. It's like Disneyland. Like, you get to make dreams come true.
Yeah.
And you get to do it in partnership. And I think that that's really the opportunity with our donors and our community when we talk about giving and relationships is, what are you dreaming of? What do you see when you see the future of your community and you see the future in South Orange County? And how do you want to help make that possible? Can we do that together?
Yeah. I mean, we get so many opportunities for our donors to be able to come into the pantry or help us with our homeless prevention work. So it's a beautiful thing. All right. So we're going to wrap it up here a little bit, but before we wrap it up, we're going to do something we've been doing for a while, and you're ready for this. So
I'm ready.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions, speed round. So
All right, let's go.
The first question is, who influences you?
So I have a 10-month-old baby, and as silly as that sounds, my son influences me all the time. Little kids, everything they do is new and it's exciting, and literally clapping makes him grin from ear to ear, and it's a great reminder of things that are simple.
Oh, missed that peekaboo time. All right. And then your favorite food growing up as in childhood?
So my favorite food growing up from childhood was something that my grandmother used to make. She used to make lemon bars for us. And it's not that typical dessert. It's not chocolate chip cookies. Lemon bars actually make your house smell like springtime. And the powdered sugar concept on top of them just always reminds me of her.
That's a little tarty sweet there.
Yes.
That's awesome. And if you had a chance to bring someone around the table, who would you want to sit around the table with?
Well, I mean, and a lot of people know, I'm a huge football person. And so someone who's inspirational, speaker, and just all around young at heart, I want Pete Carroll at my table. That is like the man for me.
I'm feeling that. Yes, we should call.
He's not working right now. He might be available.
We should call. It's a possibility. All right. Well, hey, Lauren, thanks for spending time around the table with me. I know we spend a lot of time around the table normally, but this is a great opportunity for you to share the work that we're doing. I really appreciate all that you do for us, and the people that know you know that you have a heart for service. So I'm so happy you got a chance to share that with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, and hope you and your friends join us next time around the table as we continue to explore the intersection of food, people, and culture. Bye for now.
Well, there you have it. We hope you'll join us as we take a journey deep into the heart of our organization's mission to combat poverty and uplift our community. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.